I came to Brain Balance to try and get some assistance for our son Calvin. Calvin had been diagnosed with attention deficit issues, focus issues, spatial issues, reading issues. I really was very worried about him. I started taking him to a reading tutor several times a week where he would do wonderfully for the reading tutor, but the minute he would get out of the environment, he would revert right back to not really staying in tune. He was having behavioral issues at school. He's a very bright child, high IQ, but he was unable to focus.
Rico is awesome. He is 9 years old, and he was diagnosed with PDD and OS when he was about 2.5 years old. Like most parents, we were devastated. We didn't know what to do, which way to turn. And I heard about Brain Balance.
Our center was started by Dr. Robert Melillo. We have 50 centers across the country now. There are 2 books that Dr. Melillo has written. One is called Disconnected Kids. It's a functional disconnection syndrome that we treat in the brain. And Disconnected Kids is a manual for parents to get an idea on how their children are functioning on a neurological level. The other book he wrote was Reconnected Kids. It's a manual to empower families for kids that have been reconnected to their world through Brain Balance and how they can reconnect to schools, to other kids their age or older or younger, their siblings, their parents, and their communities. We're excited that this program actually works for children. And in this video, we are going to show you some examples of children going through the program in our sensory motor room, in our cognitive room, or our neuroacademic room, working with these children to better their lives. We're making changes in how their brains operate.
It's a totally comprehensive program. It's rooted in research and science, and it makes sense. And specifically, the people at the Brain Balance Center are phenomenal. I mean, they're very supportive. They're your son's greatest champion.
I got right away that they understood what type of issues, not only that our son was facing, but that what we were facing. When I talked about IEP meetings and dealing with teachers and the issues that were coming up with school and the problems that were going on at home, I finally felt like I was talking to somebody who didn't want to just medicate him or put him in a group with other people that they felt were not, perfectly following the rules that these people had set up. That was a huge relief for me.
It was just wonderful, and we just felt like, wow, we have so much information here to work with that we can really target his areas of weakness. Just giving us that, not only the information, but then giving us the tools and the resources and the practical everyday structure that we could work with in order to help our son reach his full potential.
The response we got here was quite good. I didn't feel pressured. I didn't feel like I was being sold something. I didn't feel like I was a bad parent if I didn't go in this direction. I felt like they genuinely were concerned about the welfare of my son.
You're going to get an honest assessment of who he is, but then you're going to get, now, let's show you how we can help your child to reach their full potential. They're going to do great. They're going to be fine. We can do this, and it just offers hope. But not just offering hope, you actually see it materialize.
Even though I had to travel a long distance to get here, and at first it was kind of like, oh, this is such a hassle to get to this one place, and I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. It ended up being very worth it.
He genuinely engages people now. He was never like that really before. I mean, this is all within not even 6 months. I mean, it's been that dramatic a change for him. I'm getting a little emotional thinking about this. I'm just not used to talking about him like this. He handles things much better than he did. Before, he would just sort of shut down and then blow up. Now, he seems to take a minute and sort of step back and evaluate how he wants to respond before he does it.
After starting Brain Balance, I slowly started getting better in my work. I had more interest in school. I made a lot more friends, and I was able to look people in the eye.
Just one cool thing is that he had no sense of smell. Like he didn't recognize smells or anything like that. And just having that understanding that the emotions were connected with the smells and everything was connected. And I think one of the best things was when he walked in the door one day and he said, "Wow, it smells like you're cooking chicken in here, Mom." You know, and we were just looked at each other like, did he really just say that? You know, that was just really cool. He started saying, "I love you," when, you know, after we started the Brain Balance program. Just started showing more emotion that was in context with things that were going on. He started to catch jokes, and you started to see his sense of humor start to develop. People take for granted with typical kids, you just take those things for granted. But for us, that was just like, wow, victory. You know, we really see that this is working.
Little things that make a big difference. She smiles more, laughs more, hangs out with me, and it's really great.
You know, we now give him his amount of weight to carry, and he seems to thrive on that. He's a significantly happier kid now than he was.